Classic League Podcast time!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 276 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott, and I've got Dustin joining me again tonight. Dustin, what's up, man?
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
Ready.
One more, boys, and that's what they call a winning streak. Come on, I'll give you $1 if you know what movie that is.
I got nothing.
Major League.
Major League.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Hey,
Are you trolling me, or did you actually get that, and there's just the Discord delay?
I remembered you mentioned it last week, so I went with Major League.
Okay. All right. I mentioned Major League last week?
I think so.
Boy, I did a very lazy job scrubbing for jokes and thumbnail arts. Hey, Brian's here. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? Good old Brian Trusty. He's the one breaking the Ouya news. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's good to see you. He says, glad to catch this week live. I have something to listen to while I do some work. Hey, glad to keep you company. You know, I feel like that's such an honor if somebody says, I can listen to you in the background while I'm working or going to sleep. Like, that is the top level tier of comment that you can get as far as a compliment with the podcast. So, this is our podcast is called Classic Elite. We're a video game podcast, so we'll be talking about some gaming news. We are going to be very retro heavy this week. It may be a shorter episode. I have not played much. Dustin, have you played much over the last week?
A little bit.
Okay. We're going to be relying on you a lot then. Very slow news week, so I just decided to dig for, I don't know, weird retro video game facts and information and found some. So, thanks Nintendo Life and thank you YouTube. Shout out to Ether who's joining us live in chat. If you'd ever like to join us live and interact, you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/classicleet/live on Wednesday nights, usually around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Daylight Time, depending on whatever our government says that we're in right now. So anyways, yeah, man, 2 weeks in a row. Did you get any more rest over the last week?
I have. Yeah.
Oh, all right, good.
I'm a little more rested.
You're getting back into like normal like life then. It's not like a dream. Well, cool, man. Anything exciting happen? Any pop culture stuff? Any goofy stories?
I watched A Quiet Place.
I thought we talked about that last week.
We did. They asked in the chat if I'd watched it yet, and I hadn't because I saw Hereditary.
Oh, okay, that's right. Shame on me. Look who's not paying attention. What'd you think?
It was good. I liked it.
Did you see it? Is it out? Can you rent it now? I've heard that the theater was a good experience.
Yeah. Oh man, I imagine the theater. Well, if the audience was cool, then the theater experience would have been crazy.
I've heard, for some reason, that movie brought the best out of audiences. People were quiet. I heard.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Ether says in chat, parents bought the new Atari console, the one that had all the Atari games in it, for $200 or $300. That's interesting because that Atari console that was on the Kickstarter. Did you see any of the backlash that recently happened with that?
Mm-hmm.
So I forget which games journalist. I will try to look for it while I'm talking about it. But essentially, the CEO or the marketing person for the VCS at a recent trade event gave an interview with a journalist, and he felt that the journalist wrote a hit piece about the console and claimed that he made up all this stuff and called the games journalist a troll and said it's sad. He put out on Twitter like it's sad that there's a games journalists are just trolls now. And so the guy's like, I got receipts and released the audio of him asking these questions, and he did not do a hit piece. So Ether, let us know when your parents finally get that thing, because it's behind the 8 ball in a big way right now from a PR perspective, like leaking into Coleco Chameleon territory.
Oh, all right.
So we will see. It looks amazing. Hey, what's up, Vepper? Good to see you. Yeah. So I don't know. Let me see if I can. Atari VCS interview. Let's see. Yeah, Atari the register.ouvk. So yeah, the Register released the article. Okay, here it is. Atari accuses L Reg, the Register, of professional trolling and making stuff up. And then there are audio bits of everything that he wrote in the article. So I will link that in the show notes as well. Here, I'll put it in the chat as well. So there you go, Ether. You can take a look at that. Be careful if you're going to snap back at someone online. If there's evidence of what was said, be careful, I guess. But it's awesome to know somebody that might be able to give some insight on that once it finally comes out. Original Space Invaders is excellent. Combat, there's not that many Atari games I like. I still like Combat. Missile Command is okay. Breakout I really like. Is that Breakout or Alleyway? You know what I'm talking about, that style.
Mm-hmm.
It's Breakout. Kaboom, I like. Have I missed any that you'd play?
That's about. There was one where you had like 4 different castles on the screen.
Okay.
And you were shooting at all the other ones. Like you had control of one castle up in like the top left, and you had to destroy all the other castles. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But it was like,
because Combat was a little tanks in a maze, right?
I think so.
That's the one I was thinking of. And then Missile Command is super fun as well. He said it was loud, but it was very good. That's cool. Yeah, Space Invaders is OG, man. That's like Atari. Everybody knows what that game looks like. So awesome. And yeah, I'll for listeners, I will have that the Register article linked in the show notes, so you can go check that out, whatever podcast app you're listening to, or go to our website classicelite.com, and I'll have everything listed there. So the only new gaming news, Dustin, is Naughty Dog has come out and said Nathan Drake is not a bullet sponge. He's just incredibly lucky. And when we thought we were getting hit and the screen was turning gray and blood was around the edge, that was the indicator that your luck was diminishing. So he's just fighting a bunch of stormtroopers, I guess.
I actually really like that.
Me too.
Because there are so many games where you get shot a million times and you recover, and then you go to a cutscene and somebody gets shot in the head and they die immediately.
It fits.
And it makes no sense.
It is so dumb. It's such a dumb answer in such a great way. I really like it.
And I think it totally jives with that universe.
It does. It really does. Because Nathan Drake is always considered, in every other aspect, incredibly lucky. The way he is able to, parkour around stuff and climb mountains and all that. Ether also mentioned, he said Gork. I think he might mean Gorf. He says Pong, an adventure he played. Gorf is Gorf. That's I love that game, so I'm hoping that's what he means. It's the Galaga sequel, where you could actually move around the bottom of the screen.
Oh, right.
It's amazing. That's one of my favorite arcade games. Very underrated. Hey, Alex, good to see you. And User also says very few games justify the bullet sponge character. Yeah. So I love this idea. And so is Nathan Drake also a terrible shot? And that the enemies aren't really bullet spongy, they're just lucky too? And that
they're just not as lucky?
They're not as lucky. I kind of really like that. Ether mentions Halo or Doom to a degree. And I could see totally what he's talking about. They just... You accept it, it's numbers. So yeah, I'm glad we're on board with that. I would have been disappointed if you were like, "Man, that's a lazy cop out," because there's been some.
100%.
The headlines to me read a little snarky. Maybe I'm just jaded with Games Journalist, So I'm reading it that way. Maybe that's my problem. But I feel like a lot of them have had a little snark to the, like, eye roll. Oh, God, this is the excuse. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Makes sense to me. It's a video game.
Yeah, and the Max Payne manual, Max Payne's, of course, he goes into bullet time during the game. In the manual, in the first one, it was just like, why can he go into bullet time? He just can. That's why.
Okay. I like that. Because the script says so. Because that's the game mechanic.
He's not a superhero. He just can do this.
Yeah, at that time, I this is post Matrix world. I was like, obviously, like humans will just eventually get there, right?
Yeah.
Next up in the news, did you catch this next little bit of info?
Yeah, they made an entire freaking Battletoads game for the Game Boy called Super Battletoads, and they just were like, nah, just put it on the shelf somewhere.
I recently heard, I think it was Giant Bomb talking about how most games that were finished at least are known about now, and this feels like one that's cropped up. Like, sure enough, he like jinxed this game into being found in a way.
Yeah. It'll be on the this will be the game on the Game Boy Classic that Nintendo releases.
Good. Yeah, this will be the Star Fox 2.
Yeah. It'll just be a big ass shell you put your Switch in.
All right. I don't know. I haven't played it in a really long time, but when I was a kid, I liked the Game Boy Battletoads better than the NES version. Did you ever play the Game Boy one at all?
Mm-hmm.
I was able to pass the speed bike in the Game Boy, and as a kid, never could get past the speed bikes in the NES version. And I think that's solely what I'm basing my opinion on, was I could get further. I played it. I remember it was third grade because I played it in a car trip to Georgia, and from Ohio as a kid, that was like, I don't know, 12-hour car ride or something.
Oh my God. That's a significant chunk of your life when you're that young.
Yes, it is. My little sister was like less than a year old. I remember my parents had her in like a carrying case. What do they call those? What's a baby carrier? Baby carrier.
Car seat?
No. Like a basket, but like modern. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was just wedged in between like their front seats in the van. And my brother got one bench of the minivan, and I got the other bench. And like looking back now, absolutely not. That was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Even in the 90s, we were idiots with kids. Just like, hey, if they don't make it, they don't make it.
We don't even need you for agricultural purposes, okay? If you die...
Yeah, it's a selfish reason we have children nowadays, right? It's for my own personal skill. I want one like a dog. Kind of like a stroller, but not a stroller, like a carrier maybe. You know, it's kind of like a plastic Easter basket with a blanket inside. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing it justice, but yeah, like nowadays there's like proper baby car seats. And it would have been strapped in the middle, or she would have been strapped in the middle properly. But my parents like, my sons are assholes, so they're not going to leave each other alone if we don't separate them by a bench. That's what I think it really was. So, I hope that this gets an official release. Maybe they'll pack it in as a hidden feature with the Battletoads release that's coming to Xbox sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, little Easter egg in there. That'd be fun. Game Boy. Like, it's cool that it's a Game Boy game. I really liked the Game Boy. So,
yeah.
Next up, so the article from Nintendo Life, that Super Battletoads is also from Nintendo Life. But Nintendo Life just ran an article that said that Sharp accidentally copyright trolled Nintendo about 40 years ago. And we all know the Famicom. If you're our age and you listen to gaming podcasts, you know what the Famicom is. It's the Japanese Nintendo that came out before the NES was rebranded as the NES here. So, I'll get to your question here in a second, Ether. So it turns out that Sharp in 1979 made a product called the Family Convection Oven.
Mm-hmm.
And they shortened the name to Famicon, C-O-N. And one of the Nintendo employees that was working on the Famicom at the time wanted to shorten Family Computer to Famicom with an M. But according to the article, in Japanese, those shortenings are the same word. Unlike in America, or in English, I was really ignorant. In English, N versus M would be a really big distinction. But in Japanese, I guess it wasn't. And so for the first few years, even though Nintendo wanted to use Famicom, they really needed to use the Family Computer moniker until that kind of got cleared up after the first couple of years. How is this? How did I just hear about this kind of a thing?
I love it. The article says that they actually settled it amicably. Sharp was cool with them, and of course that led to Sharp making some Nintendo products. The one that you can see on our channel is the Twin Famicom.
Yes, that's right.
The Sharp Twin Famicom, which is the Famicom and the disk system squished together. It's like the CDX of Famicoms.
That brings it all full circle. I love how you reference something more obscure as the comparison. Like,
excuse me, the Turbo Duo of Famicoms.
Okay, there you go. Which, if you don't know, okay, I'm not going to get there. What was the Genesis one called?
XI of Famicom.
Yeah. What was the Sega one called that had the CD and the like 32X bundled in it? Just the CDX? Sega CDX? That
never happened.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be called like the Neptune, maybe.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Or maybe that was the secret project name for the Dreamcast.
I know that there's a Walkman size thing out there. Maybe it's not 32X and it's just Sega Genesis with a CD in it. Because there was one of those released. I know that was for retail. What's that called?
CDX.
That's the CDX. Okay.
Yeah.
Dustin with his Will Actually glasses. He took my 32X to heart. Like, well, that didn't actually happen, man. So let's see here. Hey, Zarek, what's up, dude? It's good to see you, man. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. There's visual evidence that, yes, it 100% exists. Ether says, hey, Scott, do you think humanity will go down more Star Trek or development Warhammer-esque path? I'm generally an optimistic person, so I genuinely would bet on the Star Trek path. It's funny he says Warhammer, because for me it's Terminator 2. Is it Terminator or is it Star Trek? I don't know why. I'm just cautiously optimistic about, even though humanity is very frustrating at times. I don't know. I think it'll all work out eventually. We won't necessarily see it, but I don't. What would you get? What would you guess? Are you Star Trek? Or are you? It's all going to hell. And we got some Siddhartha stuff where it resets.
I think it'll be like kind of Star Trek with like a dash of Terminator, but it's mostly just going to be people screeching racist and soy boy at each other.
You don't think that's ever going to go away?
I mean, I think the terminology will switch, but it's going to be the same thing.
It'll be this. Okay. See, that's where I'm optimistic we may get past. It'll be 1,000 years, but maybe someday. And to clarify, he meant more the aesthetic, like blocky and mechanical and unsanitary by, and if I'm thinking aesthetics, I definitely think we'll get like hyper clean. We'll be Demolition Man. You know, you need toilet paper, you cuss at the wall. Kind of,
yeah.
You know, super clean. I'm going to go that route. Bill and Ted, Excellent Adventure, that kind of stuff.
I think it's going to be more like Alien, blue collar, like steam blowing out in the hallway, like stuff, like condensation forming and falling,
Okay.
and like blue collar space truckers.
Okay. That sounds great. Blue collar space truckers.
Yeah.
Alex the Great says, when's the new Battletoads? I don't think that's been announced at all. I think it was just, hey, we're working on something. So,
Yeah.
fingers crossed for 2019. It can't be that big of a game. It's not like they're going to... Yeah, I don't know.
It's like God of War, but you're playing as Zitz.
Zitz, yeah. God of War's mechanics are so fun. Sign me up. Let's do this.
It's God of War, but when you throw a punch, your fist gets enormous.
All right, man. Sometimes you have really, really, really good ideas. I love when you just spitball, man. Zarek's going with Blade Runner. Is that kind of what you were going at with the blue collar trucker style?
Yeah, but I think that's predicated on the whole like stratification, like kind of what the hell you call it? Like rich or super rich.
Oh, the class-based stuff, like
class-based, yeah.
Okay, where you have the super disparity.
Yeah, and if it's based on capitalism, then I don't think you have to worry about that.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. GameCuber says, yeah, new Battletoads. Good to see a GameCuber, by the way. It says, I hope they finish the game, unlike the TV series. There was a TV series, huh? That sounds vaguely familiar. Boy, they were really chasing the Ninja Turtles at that point then.
Yes, they were.
Zerk's also suggesting the Fifth Element is but less dark.
Multipass. You remember that part where she holds up the multipass at the...
I've never seen Fifth Element.
Oh, man, you should.
I know. I've tried, and I did not... I was not...
It's all right. I mean, it's not going to change your life, but it's okay.
I need to watch it. It's one of those things. You know, I had a question that I'll throw in after this last bit of news related to that. That might be kind of fun. This would be one of the things I would probably... as an example of something that I wish could have happened. So, he also says, GameCuber says, wait a second, the idea of God of War sounds awesome. I would play the heck out of that game. Throw in some One Punch Man music, and I might not play anything else. I've never seen One Punch Man, but I heard that's a really good anime.
I also have not seen it.
It's been recommended to me on Amazon. Although we do need to... I'm going to rewatch Castlevania soon because... I think in the fall, season 2 comes out.
Oh, I was hoping it would hit summer, but I know we haven't heard anything about it, and summer's almost over.
They just released over those last couple of months. I remember seeing articles about it. So it is going to be relatively soon. I'm very excited, and I believe, and I don't have a citation for this. I'm going off memory. I believe they already opted for season 3 as well.
Cool. Yeah, I think I heard that too.
So okay. By our powers combined, our rumors.
That's confirmed.
Confirmed. If we both hear the same rumor, there's no way that it's not true. And then last in gaming news, before I get to the questions, since we're so light on stuff this week, Dustin, why don't you tell us about the last story here?
Okay, so back in the day, I can't do a good Jocko. Back in the day, they made sewing machines that worked with Gameboys because they thought that it would get kids into sewing. And it did not. It
did not. But it's too ahead of its time. Imagine now, like cosplayers and stuff, having like their phone to do this. But so explain how it worked, essentially.
So this thing has a link cable in it where you can interface with a Game Boy Color, and you can just basically program this thing to sew what you want with your Game Boy. Like you can choose a different kind of stitching.
Yeah.
You can choose like different like little pictures. It looked like a pretty robust menu that, I mean, you have up, down, left, right, and BA to work through. So I imagine it might take a while, but she has 2 different machines. They're basically functionally identical. It was just the first company produced the first line, and then they licensed the second company to make the second line.
Yeah, and the second company was Singer, which you're probably familiar with here in the States.
Yes.
And Kelsey Lewin, who we've talked about before on the show, when you were gone, she was one of the channels I featured.
Oh, okay.
She did the SNES workout bike, and she did a really great video on this. I think it's really a great idea. Like, they even had, she said it was only 20 lines, but you could do custom patterns too, which I'm sure was really tedious to try to put together. And she also mentioned that there was no game at all to it. It wasn't trying to teach you to sew or anything. It was purely an interface to get a pattern going.
Yeah.
And it seems like she knows about as much when it comes to sewing as you and I do. Admittedly, in the video, she's like,
Yeah.
"It took me forever to get going." So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Zarek says the biggest news this week is a PC version of Monster Hunter World is coming August 9th. Yes, good. Congratulations, everybody. You don't have to play God Eater anymore. You can get Real Monster World on PC.
You can grind on Gold Member for like 12 hours a day.
What? Is that one of the... That sounds like a James Bond villain.
Yeah, it's that gold dragon thing. It's like
Colvey or something. Yeah, that Zarek. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You're referencing something.
He's killed it like 500 times.
Yes. I got to tune in for one of those, and he showed me... That game had way more fluidity than I was ever expecting. I thought it was going to be way more purely Dark Souls. Just heavy weapons. But he was zipping around, and he had a verticality to his gameplay that was really cool. It looked super fun. I never should have tried that Wii U Monster Hunter Ultimate. I put a bad taste in my mouth about that game. Colvey Taroth, yeah, there we go. Zarek says, "Am I the only one who had a feeling of wrongness when Dustin said..." Wait, did you say up, down, left, right, BA? Everyone's like, no, it's up, up, down. Oh, you just did that?
Yeah, because I was talking about trying to program a sewing machine with all you have is up, down, left, right, BA.
Sorry, I was... I didn't pick up on it either. So
your brain was doing the same thing. It was like, wait, that's not right, is it?
My brain was like...
distracted.
No, I was... Are the audio levels still okay? What's next on the show notes? Like, I missed so many of your jokes because of that. Just trying to people are talking in chat. Let's address it. Are they commenting now or can we wait? It's tough to keep it going sometimes. But that's why it's a free show.
Right, being co-host and producer at the same time.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Okay, Dustin. So I was thinking about this today since I knew that we were going to have a light show. Also, again, go to Kelsey Lewin's channel on YouTube. So, we can't consume everything. So, let's have a Total Recall. Like, what's a game or like a series that you would like to Total Recall yourself and just inject the memory, inject the experience of playing Final Fantasy VI because you never played it, or a TV series or a book series? What are some of them that might come to mind for you?
Eve.
Like Eve Online, like the
Eve Online.
Oh wow, yes.
Because I find that super, super, super duper interesting. I would never play that game.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, every story I've ever heard out of that, I was like, that has to be the coolest game in the world.
Yeah, but
I will never play it. I will never touch it.
I do love when there's a major news story from it. It's always one of my favorite things to discuss. Big battles, real dollars lost. Yeah, Final Fantasy VI is probably the one I would like to get to. I've never played a Final Fantasy game, and I really like Chrono Trigger, so that seems like one that I would really like a lot. But Now, that's I can't quite say that because in theory, Tony and I are going to do a book club about that. We're supposed to get together next week. We're going to meet halfway from where we live and hang out and play some Hearthstone or get a beer or whatever.
Cool.
So that'll be cool. But, gosh, I wouldn't mind, even though I know most of it, I would love the Game of Thrones just injected into me. I'm never going to read those books, but I love the show.
No.
I'd love to know the difference. What about you guys in chat? What are some that you might want to see? You know, an MMO is a brilliant choice. Like, that has me thinking that I really didn't think my own question through very well. Like, to have the experience of 1,500 hours in StarCraft or World of Warcraft would be really cool. You know, honestly, we lost Dustin. We might have got Dustin back. Let's see. We're spinning. Are we back?
How's my video looking?
Looks good.
Okay.
Don't hit that
That was
button
weird.
again. Yeah. I thought, oh no.
All I did was mute.
Oh.
God. Note to self.
It shuts it down. I would go with
I mean, it muted me.
yes it did. Discord, you went a little too literal with that one. I think I might actually go with Doctor Who. People love that show.
Yeah.
I think I would like it, but even when people are like, "Oh, just start with the new ones." That show's been running since 2005. No.
Yeah.
That's a long, long time. Ether says that talk about Warframe, WoW, and Eve. Yeah, that's a good one. Jimson, new person in the chat. Thanks for joining. Kingdoms of Amalur. I remember Gooch really liked that game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that poor game. It came out right beside Skyrim.
Yeah.
If it had waited like a year, maybe.
Yeah, well, it had such development hell. There was no way they could have come out early.
Yeah.
So, I think Zarek is saying Rocksmith and get 10,000 real guitar hours injected. That's a really good choice. He also recommends the NES piano teaching game. GameCuber's got Dead Space, Dead Rising, before the fourth one. Yeah, those are all great choices.
Oh, just go play Dead Space. That game is excellent.
Dead Space is only like 8 to 10 hours if you machine through it. Oh, Command and Conquer Ether. That's a good one, too. Heck yeah. Zarek says we can just pick up things other than games, like Dustin's Japanese Rosetta Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Skyrim, Jimson, I'm with you on Skyrim. I've never played it. Dustin's played enough for both of us.
Mm-hmm. That game's great. It is great.
I believe it. Someday, the only Bethesda property I've really played is Doom, this new Doom game.
Okay.
Which is like a technicality. They just published it, right?
Yeah.
But the logo shows up at the beginning, so whatever. I'm counting it.
Count it.
Yeah, so if you'd like to email us your Total Recall experience, something you'd like to ingest, let us know. ClassicElite@gmail.com. Classic L337. So, all right, man. Let's talk about the YouTube channel of the week.
YouTube channel of the week.
Week.
Let's go with Like Stories of Old.
All right.
It is a channel that kind of delves into the deeper meaning of pop culture stuff.
Okay.
And the video I highlighted is Logan versus Metal Gear Solid, telling the story of a hero's departure. And there are spoilers for both Logan and Metal Gear Solid 4 in this.
In the video.
In the video.
You're not going to do it, though, right?
I will not spoil.
I got yelled at for a spoiler on our YouTube channel this week. Rightfully so. It's the kind of thing I would have cried about. It's like a super light spoiler, but it's like, meh. That's too much of a spoiler. I showed an image of a final boss. Now, I was reviewing the Pure Solar strategy guide.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you're reviewing a strategy guide. There's going to maybe... If you haven't played the game, you either buy the strategy guide or you go online for an FAQ walkthrough. But yeah. I was flipping through and inadvertently landed on the final boss and mentioned that I landed on the final boss. And he was mad that I mentioned that it was the final boss. He's like, I never would have known had you not mentioned it, which he's correct.
I mean, he would have known if he'd played the game first.
But, right? And at the beginning of the video, I show a great walkthrough that you can go to that the person that helped write this guide, it's free online. I don't know. He was technically correct, and I do sympathize. Person out there, I am sorry I spoiled the image of the monster briefly. Like, no mechanics, no names, no nothing. Just a brief flash image.
You fight your shadow, okay? That's the spoiler.
You know what? I would be pissed, actually, because too many games have done that.
It's right after the Thunderbird. It's in the Great Palace.
You find out the whole time... yeah, I don't know. You didn't have amnesia. I don't know.
You're a Cyclone. Cylon? Replicant.
Replicant or Cylon. Yeah, Cylon. Yeah, Cylon for Battlestar. Dude, I pushed all the way through that. That show is all right.
The newer one?
Yeah, I've never seen the original.
Agreed. It was all right.
It's all right.
I like Katie Sackhoff. She's cool.
Yeah, James Olmos, right? James Edward Olmos. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but it didn't blow me away. Another one that was overhyped was Firefly. If I had saw it like raw or, unhyped, I probably would have liked it more, but it was so hyped up.
Yeah.
Although the girl in Firefly was an awesome Terminator in that Sarah Chronicles. Sarah Connor Chronicles. I really liked that show. Had Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Summer
like 06, 07. Oh, you're talking about her name.
Yeah, Summer Glau?
I have no idea.
We'll say that's it.
Either says Battlestar Galactica is aggressively average.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. I think a lot of that was like, man, this is on Sci-Fi? This is actually kind of okay.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a flaming dumpster fire, but I was like, well, I kind of want to keep watching it.
I'm nervous about The Expanse for the same thing. It came from Sci-Fi, and I hear how good The Expanse is, but again, it started at Sci-Fi, so I don't know. I gotta temper my expectations a little bit. However, my buddy Matt, when he recommends something, he has not let me down. He says I need to give it a shot, so I probably will do that. So yeah, like stories of old. I don't care about spoiling Metal Gear, and I love Logan. It's one of my favorite movies in a long time, so I will absolutely be watching this when we get home. When we get done.
It's like, are you in a studio right now?
I like this is. I swear this is water. Like I. All right, yeah. So yes. I did a green screen. I'm actually up in Michigan right now. So all right, cool. Well, Dustin, man, what have you been playing?
So a few weeks ago, I picked up Dracula Crazy Vampire.
Okay, it sounds like a bootleg game.
It almost feels like one.
Okay.
Almost. It's actually a Universal Pictures licensed Dracula game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it didn't have enough money budget behind it to actually for someone to give it like a real good English name. Like that feels like it was like the Spanish or whatever studio.
Yeah. Yes, that sounds like just a bad translation.
But okay, so I found this game on a Angry Video Game Nerd video, and it wasn't featured. He just played it for like a minute
Okay.
and said, "Yeah, you're Dracula and you throw bats at dogs, whatever." And he goes on to the next thing. So I tracked this game down. It's super cheap. It's a Game Boy Color game.
Okay.
I pick it up, and I try to research it because I want to see, like, is this game worth buying? So I look at the YouTube videos, and the only reason anybody's ever heard of it is because they saw it on the AVGN video.
Okay.
So everybody that's playing it is like obnoxiously fake angry about this game.
Okay.
So I actually played the game, and it's not bad. Like, it's not going to rock your socks off, but it is a fun little top-down action game where you play as Dracula and you like rescue. At one point, I fought the Wolfman, which was rad.
Okay.
I went through a level and I saved Frankenstein's creature for the Bride of Frankenstein, and they got together.
All right. This is lockstep so far. This is
it's a pretty cool game. And you go through outside levels sometimes, and there is sunlight, and the sunlight will drain your stamina, and you have to like go into the shadow to kind of recuperate. You can any human enemy you can stun and then suck their blood and refill your life.
okay.
It's
It's a good
like
game mechanic.
Yeah, it's a competently made kind of average action, not really platform. Can't remember if you can
Was it
talk
like
about.
Commando or Jackal when you said like what? I'm having a hard time with the
Kinda.
perspective.
It's think like Legend of Zelda, but you throw bats instead of a sword.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Jimson says, sounds like Van Helsing. Zarek's got some comments here. He says, no way going back. He does not have the right to be mad. It's a strategy guide. Nobody who's trying to avoid spoilers even glances at a strategy guide. Thank you. And then Jimson also mentions 13 Ghosts as a movie into a game, maybe. That would be good. I've never seen 13th Ghost. Also, last strategy guide I bought was Skyrim in 2012. Wanting to learn the crafting locations and finding dragons. I remember you leveling up. Like, you could beat dragons before, like, the first quest or something. You did something weird like that.
How did I do that? Crafting silver daggers or iron daggers? I crafted a bunch of daggers.
Okay.
And my crafting skill went up super high.
Zarek says, I hated Logan so much that my brain refused to understand that you were talking about Wolverine. I honestly thought you guys meant Logan's Run. That's been recommended to me, like through the Amazon algorithms. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Either says, I would love a Van Helsing video game. There is a decent Van Helsing game, actually. It's called Van Helsing. It's on Steam, and it is a Diablo Torchlight kind of game.
Ooh.
And
there's also this one based on the movie, and it is not terrible.
That's
it's
OG
okay.
Xbox.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go, Ether. Not terrible, and if you like Diablo, then the PC game I think is $20 full price and frequently on sale.
That's cool.
I bet Jimson says there was a Van Helsing game for PS2. I bet that's just a port of what you had there.
Yeah, more than likely.
Alex the Great mentions that there's been 2 good ones and 1 bad one for the 360. Yeah, I mean, he mentions the other one on Steam. Then the reason I know about the Steam one is Tony and I have played it together. So
that's cool. I need to check that out. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's cool. Low PC specs. I bet most laptops nowadays could run it.
Sweet.
Yeah, definitely a game worth checking out. So what else have you been up to?
I played some Ease 3, Wonders from Ease.
Okay.
I played the Turbo Duo version.
That one has the side-scrolling parts in it, right?
Yes, it's all side-scrolling.
Oh, okay.
And it is... That game That game was made for fans of ease, basically exclusively,
Okay.
because it's not
What are the problems?
it's not great. Like the jumping doesn't feel great. The fighting is not tight at all. Basically every single encounter is a battle of attrition, and if you are leveled high enough, you will win, or if your equipment is high enough, you will win.
Okay.
There's just there's no give and take. There's no, like the controls aren't good enough for you to dodge.
Oh, okay.
The jumping feels off. Like the jump is terrible. You would hate the jump.
That's a bummer. All right,
Yeah.
I'll definitely stay away from. I think I have that on a multi-cart. Like I think it is one. There's like it was official. It was called like 6-pack,
Oh, okay.
and it had like Sonic 3 on it and Golden Axe maybe,
Huh.
and Ease 3.
Cheetah Man.
No. I briefly backed that Cheetah Man 2 Kickstarter, and then I realized, what am I doing? and I canceled it, and like the bald dude that was running it or whatever, like sent me like an email like, oh no, why'd you cancel? Is everything okay? Like, and I'm like, nah, it's not worth $60. I don't want it. Like, what am I?
Oh,
That's when I was like really at the height of my game collecting, before I had really checked off all the boxes I really wanted. And that's a slippery slope. That's when you start grabbing crap that you just do not need.
yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that.
So yeah, Ease 3. You're probably not going to finish it then.
I probably will, because I'm very, very close to the end.
Oh, okay.
It's a really short game. You could probably finish it in an afternoon, an evening.
Oh, so is it because it's Genesis, right? So is it a password system? Or like
It is for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I think it is password.
okay. Oh, but you said you're
Maybe.
playing it on the TurboGrafx, right?
Turbo Duo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that does have a save system. Maybe it's a save system. Maybe it has a battery backup. I'm not sure. I can't remember on the cartridge versions. But I'm pretty sure the Turbo Duo version was the first version. Like the scrolling, like when you're just walking through, is so chunky.
Yeah. It sounds horrendous.
Yeah, it's so like, man, you got to be just the dumbest person to play through this game, like me.
No, I know. You know what? I think I do have the Ease cart for real, but I'm pretty sure it's on the multi cart. But I'm now gonna fire that up for at least a couple of minutes to see if the Genesis port is a hot mess as well.
From what I understand, the Genesis port is the best graphically,
Okay.
and I know the scrolling issue is better on the Super Nintendo version. I will tell you, the music is fantastic in every version.
That seems to be a common thread with Ease. Everyone raves about the music.
Yeah.
Good deal. So what else you been up to?
So, okay, I had an excellent transaction at my local game trader.
Awesome.
I went through and I took every greatest hits version of video game that I have, and I put it all in a box. And I took a bunch of games that I never play, like James Pond 1, 2, and 3 for the Sega Genesis.
Okay.
Put those in a box. I ended up taking a whole bunch of stuff up to this game trader. And I didn't really have anything in mind. I'm just trying to trim the collection back a little bit. You can actually see there's holes in it.
Yeah. It looks good. It looks nice and clean, man.
Yeah, I'm like bonsai tree, but video game collection.
There you go.
I took a big box of stuff up there, and I ended up getting $150 in credit.
Hell yeah. I love store credit in video games.
Yeah, it's great. I always go with store credit. And I was in there looking around, and I just happened to see 2 games for the TurboGrafx 16 that I've been looking for.
Okay.
And they are Ninja Spirit,
All right.
which is an awesome side-scrolling
That cover looks
ninja
familiar.
game. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's like one of the frequent top 10
Okay.
TurboGrafx 16. And what I was really excited for a complete copy of Newtopia,
Oh, I've
which
heard of
is
Utopia.
the Zelda-like for the
Yeah.
TurboGrafx 16, and it is extremely expensive. It's like $100 for a complete copy.
And you got both those games for stuff you
I
want to get rid
spent
of.
$5.
Bravo, man. That's awesome.
But whenever I go up there and I make a trade, I always try to buy something because it is a brick and mortar store, and I try to just support them. I love those guys. I want their business to stay in business. So I also bought Zone of the Enders too.
Oh, great.
They had it for
PS.
PlayStation 2. It was $20.
Okay.
So I did want them to come out in the green.
Well, plus you also got to remember, granted, it is taking up inventory space, but if they accept a game, they know that they can also make a profit on it. They don't know how soon. So you're keeping the lights on for that day. You know, that day's sales are good. But then since you did put in a nice quantity, they will get a nice boost over time with it as well, which is good.
Yeah. I think the games that I gave them, they'll actually be able to move to.
Sounds like it. I mean, honestly, dude, you rarely buy like an absolute turd that is normally in a lot. Like you're never like, I bought Madden 93, and I'm like, no, 92 is where it's at.
But I had like up in my DS collection, I had a copy of Dragon Quest 9. And every time I go and I look at my DS games, I'm like, I forgot I bought that. One of these days I'll get around to playing that. And like, I was going through my collection. I'm like, I'm never going to play this stupid game. It's still in the shrink wrap. So I took it and I traded it in.
Perfect. Yeah. Dude, I'm with you on that. When I traded in Battlefield 1 that came with my Xbox, I picked up Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but I had to pay a couple extra bucks for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And it was like, okay, yeah. Like, I got, now they high retail, but I felt like I got a steep discount, and Battlefield 1 came with that felt like an included price for me. Because Tony still got me a deal on eBay where I paid $205 for the Xbox One S. And I love that system.
Cool.
So cool. Chat's been going good. Zarek wants to ask if you've gotten around to that Bloodstained beta.
I've not.
Okay.
Not yet. I've been playing a bad Turbo Duo game.
Please please don't unsubscribe.
Yes.
Yeah, we got Jimson says the games really feel like they started in 1998 for the Sega and Nintendo for me. Still young and haven't experienced much. Yeah, dude, there's a lot of, luckily those older games, they're relatively short. So if you're enjoying it and you get good at it, you know, one weekend and you can have an awesome gaming experience and just kind of be done with it. If you ever want recommendations, man, please keep listening. We will keep.
Yes. 86 to 97, all the good games in between that 11-year span. Oh my gosh.
Substantial. Now, we're extremely biased, but
yeah,
that's where the gaming, that's why it's such a huge industry now, is because games were just so good then. And there's all sorts of quirky things too. Like whatever you're into now, you can find an analog for it for back then. Except for like first-person shooters and stuff. Those are not very great from back then.
True.
There are some, like maybe System Shock and stuff like that. But if you use the current game mechanics, they can get real rough. I would think for a modern gamer. But platformers are fun, puzzles are fun, JRPGs. The stories didn't start getting good until the later part of the 90s, but the battle systems were fun.
Yeah,
I wasn't an adult before I got into those, though.
Most of your hangups will probably be like interface stuff. If you can get past that, you'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of those games hold up real well. So yeah, if you're feeling in a rut, or if you've, like, let's say you're the type that's just played the, you can get in a rut. Like if you're playing a bunch of Fortnite or whatever, and if you go to a different game, it's still third person over the shoulder, and then you go to another game and it's first person now. Yeah, you can play a bunch of really cool stuff from back then. The thing that I think would surprise a lot of young people now is how catchy the music is in a lot of those old games. You really, like Cubby, one of my favorite chiptune artists, he just liked those sounds. He was like 19 when he made Sleet. or something like that. Like he was in school. He didn't grow up with those sounds. He just liked electronic music. He liked EDM and he liked chiptune plugins and made great music with it. And I think people would be really surprised, outside of the really popular ones, you know, Zelda, Mario, Mega Man. You go to a lot of games, there's a lot of wonderful soundtracks, which is really cool. So yeah. All right, man. You been up to anything else? Playing anything else?
So I got one last thing. My mom used to constantly go to Blockbuster and buy really bad horror movies.
Okay.
And she would buy basically anything. And she bought so much stuff that eventually she ended up with duplicates.
Okay.
Like she would come home with like some crappy B horror movie, like six teenagers
Puppet,
go to a cabin
like,
in the woods.
Yeah, like God, there was a Puppets horror movie, like Puppet Master or something.
Puppet Master, yeah.
Like Puppet Master 3, like those little like Toy Story, but
they murder you.
But they murder you. Yes.
Right. She had like her second copy of Puppet Master 2, she realized she had a problem. And of course, like my family, we all made fun of her because she went and bought all these dumb horror movies that she was never going to watch. And
at least you can tell your wife it's genetic.
Right, yeah. Like I grew up with this. You're enabling me, babe. It's your fault.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to pare stuff down. I got the PlayStation 2 from my brother-in-law, and I was opening up I have in my closet 2 shoe racks. And in the shoe racks, I put the like controllers and hookups in there.
Oh, smart. Okay, nice.
So that's kind of how I keep everything separated, so I don't have just like a big box like all these cables mixed together.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
So I was going through that because I had to make room for these PlayStation 2 controllers, which I just got. And as I'm going through, I find a Turbo Duo Turbo Tap. And I have been eyeballing one of these on eBay for about 3 months for about $60. I almost bought a Turbo Tap when I had one. I own one, and I didn't even know
Dustin, that's what I'm saying. You can tell Kim, like, I'm sorry that this happens. I got to look up images. The Turbo Tap, if you just Google that, you get a lot of beer. Oh, okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's the only way you can play more than one player because there's only one port on the system itself.
How did you forget you had that? Like
I put it in my little cubby and forgot about it.
You have been doing this for a long time, collecting games.
Yeah, like I put it in there 5 years ago when I organized everything, and I don't have another Turbo Duo pad. I only have one of those, so I haven't had an opportunity to pull it out and use it.
Now you do. God, someday I'm going to get a TurboGrafx 16. I wanted one so bad when I was a kid. Just bonk, and the controllers look so cool.
Yeah.
The commercials were amazing. And I think I've told it before, but there was a kid at the skate rink one night. Because, there was like once a month, like your middle school would have skate night or whatever. Or maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You looked at me and I'm like, oh, well, here in Ohio, like, that's where you got your girlfriends, man. A couple skates and
skate
stuff.
Rink? What are you talking about?
You listen to Boys to Men and would like.
Yeah.
But they also had Samurai Showdown, I think, is the Neo Geo they had. They had a POW machine. Like that was a lot of fun. But one kid had the handheld with the TV tuner. And I was like, the future is now. Holy shit, that's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Sitting there watching The Price is Right.
You could have.
It's in the middle of the day.
Right? Zarek says games got mechanically worse for many years when games went from 2D to 3D. Games like Dark Souls were super common back when games were 2D. He says precise timing and memorization was common back in the day. Yeah, I agree. Which is cool. Let's see here. Yeah, because Jimson was mentioned that he's replacing parts on laptops and changing software and adding programs to PSP and his PSP 1000 and 2000, which is cool. So yeah, those are great little emulator machines. You can really dig into some titles. So if anyone has recommendations for them, check those out, man. I'm sure we'll have some good recommendations here for you. Like either is mentioning the Final Fantasy battle music, the Sonic soundtrack.
Oh, Sonic music is always good.
Yeah, it really took full advantage of the hardware and just it's got the bonks in the right way and it's got a groove. There's a reason you tap. Oh, I didn't put it in the show notes, but Sega and Puma, Puma the sneaker maker, yeah, they're doing a Sonic mashup. That you got to get Sully those shoes, man. He'll be the coolest kid ever.
Yes, absolutely.
And you should probably get yourself some, and then wear them together when you go see the Sonic movie. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Just think how fast we'll be. We don't even need the car.
I had some Chuck Taylors when I was a kid. I think they were Chuck Taylors, but I was convinced that the way that they were stitched up front made me faster. Like the things when you're in first grade, right?
Are there any more? Like, I feel like those are the most uncomfortable shoes ever.
They're not. They're, out of the box, they are, but they break in. I mean, they're just canvas, dude. They like mold your feet real easily.
It's like the bottom of it. It's like putting a 2x4 on your foot.
Yeah, I mean, but they're cheap. I don't wear them, but they're not that bad. Not that I remember anyway. Oh, Critters, Vepper. Yeah, Critters. That's a good VHS horror movie. Critters.
Yeah.
I remember two more or maybe it was three where they turned into the big ball and like rolled over a guy and a skeleton was left.
Yeah.
Like that's the one I remembered the most as a kid. I think that was just on TV more. Yeah, so cool. Well, congratulations on finding your Turbo Tap. That's sweet, dude.
Now I just need $60 so I can buy a second controller, and then Solly and I can play Dungeon Explorer.
That'd be awesome. I know he's at that age where like that's when I started playing games and really fell in love with them. I know you started early, but like you can start like just
Riot Zone
games. Riot Zone, I've never played that. Never heard of it.
It's a beat 'em up for Turbo Duo.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Oh, beat 'em ups back then. Hey, do you have those? I'm seeing a Google image of like Turbo sticks. They're kind of like the NES Advantage, but for Turbo Duo or for Turbo Graphics. They look like joysticks. They look pretty cool, man.
I have one of those for the Neo Geo CD.
Of course.
I never use it.
It's a good thing you see. You have that. So how'd you forget about the Turbo Tap? Although, if you have multiple Turbo Taps, would there be any games that you could daisy chain them all together? That'd be something else, like a Bomberman. Because there was a Bomberman.
That's what I went to. A Bomberman where you're playing like 20 people.
There was a Bomberman for the Super Nintendo that we still played in high school over at my buddy's house. Like it got intense. There's some Bomberman games that were just great.
That would cost like $1,000 to get a 20 Turbo Duo controllers.
And I'm sure Bomberman's not cheap.
Yeah. Man, I think I would have like all of the Turbo Duo controllers I would have to get one from GameStar 81.
Yeah, right.
And Johnny Millennium.
Yeah, you'd need the supply's just not there. So cool. Well, I have not been playing much other than I'm starting to get burnt out again on Rocket League. People are grumpy, and it is amazing when you find somebody though that understands positioning and passes the ball, like sets up a shot and expects me to be where I'm supposed to be. It's fun. I've been playing on the Switch the most, which is probably the worst port, like from a frame rate perspective, but I really like it. And also I have chipped away at a couple more levels on Doom. I only have 3 to go, and I'm gonna be sad when I'm done Not that I mean, it's taken me 2 years to get through it.
Man, is that game that old?
Yeah, it's Doom 2016.
Wow.
And it's not like Cars. Oh, no. A car would make it even older, right? That would mean it was out in 2015.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that game is that old. And
Man, I still haven't played it.
Man, it plays. I got it to run on a PC that has an older AMD graphics card than what's in your PC right now on the low settings. So,
Okay.
We could do like the Steam share, friend share if you ever want to play it. I can just give you my credentials. You can log in and just play it. So if you do get the itch to try it out, we can make that happen.
Cool.
Pretty easily.
All right.
Low barrier to entry there. But I did hear the Doom port's good as well if like you're itching for a Switch port of Doom. I've heard it's pretty good. So
Look at
the
that for
Doom
solid.
port, the Doom port of right. Like you will not be scared of demons.
He'd be better than one guy
Which
who did the Doom review. Who was that guy?
the Polygon Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur Gies.
Yeah, from I think that's who that was from Kotaku or whatever. He just shooting the ground. What's funny though, I think of that review every time I'm shooting like an idiot. Like, oh, thank God I'm not that guy.
You're pulling an Arthur.
Pulling an Arthur. So yeah, but Doom 2016 holds up really. It's just fast, and I've talked about the soundtrack. I've been really into guitar music, so the soundtrack just gets you so fired up. Play with headphones if you can. It's an A+ game. It's really, really good. So, well, cool. That's it for what I've been playing. So we got some listener feedback. We got some comments from Demez. I can read those, but why don't you take Kevin's email? Good buddy Kevin from Toronto.
Our Canadian correspondent says, "Hey guys, it's been a while, and Dustin, again, congrats, you sly dog. I've been listening to the last couple of episodes and catching up, and Dustin mentions getting games from someone from a yard sale. I'm the same way. People know that I'm the retro gamer guy, so they always give me a bunch of old consoles. One guy I work with gave me 2 Game Gears, a Game Boy, and a PS2, which I later found out was modded. And I just happened to be at a yard sale where this other dude asked if I had a PS2, to which I said yes. He then asked, is it modded? To which I said yes. Then he said, I can't sell you the games, but I can sell you this binder for $1 that happens to have 175 PS2 games in it. So I bought it.
Hell yeah.
PS2 was never meant to be played on the big screen because, woof, it looks bad. As per my reactions to Silent Hill Downpour, I've only played it once, and it was for review. I didn't really care for it and thought it was rather forgettable. I enjoyed Silent Hill Homecoming, not to be confused with Spider-Man Homecoming.
Good movie.
A lot more even. Yeah, it was actually. It was great. A lot more even, though that game had a lot of hate. Maybe I just like really bad games, i.e. Splatterhouse, Sonic, etc. Splatterhouse is rad. That game is good.
Yeah, you two are two that are like, well, if you get past some of the loading screen stuff, and I've heard you two talk about that very positively.
Yeah. I need to do a playthrough of that. That was one of our 31 games of Halloween that
Yeah, absolutely. I remember talking about it on the show.
Oh, I got that copy of Vegas in that Humble Bundle.
Oh, yeah.
I could do another 31 games of Halloween. Like, if I start now and, like, really try and stay consistent, I might be able to knock out 31 by the time October comes around.
You know, yes, that'd be great. But even 4 games, just one, like a featured of the week, and you could just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
31, go for it, though, because I just, you're sounding like somebody that, like, ran a marathon, like, I'm never going to do that again. I remember you being like, there's no way, I'm never going to do something like that again. And here you are like, well, maybe.
I should totally do that again.
Like, oh, it sounds like such a great idea.
It was so easy last time. Yeah, but I see what you're saying, like, quality over quantity. Like, a really in-depth 1 game per week instead of
Yeah.
I don't do depth very well.
Okay.
I don't do quality very well, is what I'm really saying.
Well, okay. I guess it's just do stuff in October. Just that be the goal.
Okay.
I don't want you like, oh no, it's August. I'm not doing 31 games, so I'm not doing anything. Play some Crazy Vampire for us. Is that what that was called? Crazy
Dracula, Crazy Vampire.
Yeah.
I think the full title would be like Universal Studios presents Dracula, Crazy Vampire.
It's great. Sorry, I didn't. Go for 31 games. Just do it. Quantity, baby, quantity. Get all that ad revenue we're never going to get again. What?
I don't know if I have 31 more games.
Okay, then.
I should just re-upload the same 31 games over again. It's just the same videos. Oh, gosh.
That was so long ago. I don't think too many people would notice.
Yeah.
That'd be great. If you're slacking one day, just re-upload one you liked. That'd be funny, actually.
Okay. Kevin goes on to say, I also started watching Your Movie Sucks on YouTube on your recommendation. I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a great channel. I also purchased God of War on your recommendation, and my God, this game is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most fun I've had in a long time, and if I were still reviewing games, this would be a 10 out of 10 on pretty much every dumb skill. Graphics, story, gameplay, it's all good. I recently played Resident Evil 7 and really enjoyed that as well. It falls apart the last hour or so, but I highly recommend it. Yeah, Resident Evil 7 is legit.
I watched my brother play the VR demo, that first 45 minutes, first hour, whatever.
Okay.
He liked it. His review was, it feels like Resident Evil. It's first person, but I remember him saying, oh, something should be here because it would be here in a Resident Evil game. And then something was there. And It was like a drawer or something like that, so.
Man, that would be wild to like be in a Resident Evil universe.
Right? And have it follow the rules that you knew from the third perspective. Very cool.
Yeah. Just immediate panic attack.
Yeah.
Like you're immediately wary of every window. All of a sudden you're a bad actor. Like
you're right.
Bad voice acting.
No. No. Was it? Oh my God. The Troll 2.
Troll 2. Yeah. That's a good pull. All right.
Nice.
I've
been hanging out with you enough.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I was thinking this probably won't happen, but we could do like a horror review every week, or maybe once a month,
of movies, games, all of the above.
Where just a movie.
Okay.
Because you don't watch many horror movies.
No.
So if we could do like we agree to watch a horror movie.
Okay.
And then you have like the newcomer perspective, and I have the grizzled old man perspective.
As a podcast segment or a separate thing?
Just a podcast segment.
Let's do that once a month. Let's do that.
Okay.
I'm down.
And it doesn't have to be something huge, like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like, because it'll give me an excuse to find. There's a couple that I really want to watch. For example, I think Cabin in the Woods needs to be the first one.
Okay.
I've wanted to watch that. I've seen enough horror movies that I understand that there's some differences than normal tropes in it. So that would be a great one. So as a starting point, I'm on board with this idea. My brother would also be proud.
Cool. I have no idea how we even got there. But Kevin goes on to say, maybe I should give modern games a chance again instead of sticking to indie and retro games. I'm such a gaming hipster.
That's just what you like, man. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I like bite size. I like all the flavors.
Speaking of which, Ready Player One movie. I don't know how I felt about it. I loved the book, read 3 times, and listened via Audible thanks to classiclead.com/audible. Is this a thing? Make it a thing.
I think we kind of can. I think we might be able to do that. Like, without having a direct sponsor, I think I can make Audible affiliate links. So if you start a free trial through our link, we'd get a kickback for it. So, Kevin, I think we actually might be able to do that. It's not a bad idea if there's a book that we've been reading. Or, like, we really should do a better job. If there's a product we just really love, every once in a while, like, just linking it and talking about, like, why we liked it. Since we don't get the YouTube monetization, that might be something to actually do.
The only thing that might put us in the black.
Yeah. Like, we don't need very much. Like, $300 a year has us covered. That's like our server fees, professional email, domain costs. So it's not much, but it's also not nothing. For free, people. But I think might as well like get an affiliate Audible link. Because it's like the Amazon Bounty program, they call it. So if you sign up for Prime through our link, which I haven't set up, but I can, or if you do a Kindle subscription or something like that, or Audible as well, I think we get like extra incentives for that. But I also don't like pushing products that much either. But I don't know. We'll figure out some way to do that. Horror movies are going to take precedent over recommending products on the podcast. So if we don't
our affiliate link to Cabin in the Woods.
That's a great idea. Yeah, we could link to the Blu-ray or whatever. There you go. Absolutely. So, okay, back to Audible.
Kevin goes on to say, the movie Ready Player One felt rushed. It was a fun ride, and I'm completely cool with circle jerking my nostalgia for the 80s. That's what made me enjoy the book, even though people complained about this aspect and how it's pandering. I like being pandered to. Pander me all you will.
Yeah, man.
I mean, they mentioned The Simpsons and quoted the line from Airplane, so I'm sold. The movie, meh. Now, Scott Pilgrim is a fantastic movie, game, graphic novel. Try out a little game called Saturday Morning RPG. It's a budget indie title that contains a shitload of 80s references. It's dumb, but fun. Also, I don't remember if I spoke about Ready Player One before. Did I? If I did, disregard this email. Also, there was no point to this email. Just wanted to say hi, Kevin. Sent from iPhone.
Hi, Kevin. Saturday Morning RPG, I remember hearing about it. It got some buzz. Like, I'm pretty sure the Retro League talked about it. I remember it, but I have not played it.
Yeah. I saw it I think they made a physical copy for Switch.
Oh, really?
I was like, what's that? Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe limited runs did like a pre-order for it. I don't know.
Limited run don't do pre-orders.
They did. They did one for Ys Origin. That's how I actually got a copy of that.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah. For the PS4.
Wow. Okay. Cool. I just like limited run games. I appreciate what they do. I just feel bad for the people that just constantly feel like they get sniped. Like that sucks. I know how it feels to like be wanting something that you paid for. Peprium, watermelon, and I thought I was excited because I got it and it's never gonna come. But I just feel bad for the people that get all worked up about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, how many games have they? Like 1 billion. But if you had 5 of them, like the 5 that you really wanted, and then the 6th one is coming up, like how nervous would you be?
Oh God,
like,
yeah.
You're basically the undefeated team, right?
You have to take a day off.
Yeah.
And you have to, like, you need your phone ready in case your internet happens to go down, your power shuts off. Like, you got to have backup plans for your backup plan, and they all got to be buying at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, you better be, like, paying somebody with a botnet. Like,
yeah, right? See, and then you get into nefarious crap like that. Too bad. I don't mean to talk shit about limited run games. It's just an easy joke to make.
Yeah,
that's all. So,
hey, whatever. If you love physical copy games and you can get them, then
by all means do it. Like, they're serving a need. Like, there's clearly a desire for that. And I don't necessarily buy into the conspiratorial side of them doing it on purpose to create buzz. because I'm pretty sure that you can't just order an odd number of games. I'm sure that you have to order prints of like 2,000 at a time or something. And you definitely don't want to sit on inventory that you cannot get rid of when you're like 2 or 3 dudes in a business.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's a cheap shot, like jokes is all. Like, I do appreciate what they do. So, all right, yeah. Thank you very much, Kevin, our good buddy from Canada. We got some comments here from Damez. I was a little late getting this episode out, so he's only got 3 here. I will probably get him caught up on next week. I'll be able to get this one out a little sooner than last week. So he starts off by saying, "So Scott, let's get this straight. As you said, one small problem with the Tomb Raider movie, a movie about a video game, is that it was a little video gamey." Yes. Like specifically, like the villains are just so obvious. Like, I don't know. It's a kind of a lazier script that you usually get from video games. That's all.
Yeah.
And
I have to say, Dumez, all these comments, Dumez is really sassy.
Oh yes, he
Like,
is very sassy. He is. He's been fired up lately. He goes, "Hey man," he goes, "if you did not back Bloodstained." Then yeah, he's arguing with someone that I don't know if they exist. He says, "Hey man, if you do not order Bloodstain, then you are not allowed to have an opinion." And he put all that in quotes. He says, "I hate this argument for politics and not voting, because whether you voted or not, the politician still represents you and spending your money, your tax money."
Yeah,
I agree. Did we talk about that, or is he needs that out in public and we're the conduit? Okay. Yeah. He says, I think he meant Dustin. Justin said, "If you are not playing your PC Engine CD on a Turbo Duo, you are a punk. If you're not playing on a PC Engine Duo, you are a punk. Turbo Duo is a kid's toy. Training wheels for the real thing." Yeah, a lot of sass.
Okay. So, allow me to retort.
Okay, please do.
Anybody who knows anything about video games whatsoever knows that anything with the PC Engine moniker is the rough draft for the far superior Western American version that comes out later.
Like the original DS versus all the DS Lite and all that.
Correct.
Okay. Snap back. What do you got, Mez?
3 snaps in a Z formation.
That's good. Yeah. Hey Kevin, Dumbass is being more gaming hipster than you right now, so don't feel bad. Right. So appreciate you listening and commenting, Dumbass. Love it, even if you're sassy.
Yeah, we love you.
So that's gonna be it for the show, Dustin. We made it to 1 hour and 20 minutes. Bravo to us.
All right.
Considering how weak the news was, had a lot of fun this episode. So pulled together a fun one. I'd like to thank everybody that joined us in chat. Do you have anything that you wanted to wrap the show up with before I do all the old sign-off stuff? I love how you look around, like, because you legitimately could actually think of something.
Dracula Crazy Vampire is not as bad as the 2 other videos on it say.
All right, you heard it here. First, that it's not bad. But yeah, Jimson, thanks for coming out. Hey, Ken, I didn't see you. Good to see you, man. Ken Myers is here. Ether, appreciate you hanging out. Vepper was here earlier. Zarek, of course, make sure to go check out our good buddy Zarek's gaming channel over on YouTube. He streams a lot all day. He's got a great chat and good community over there. Brian Trusty was here. Hope that work went well in the background, my friend. Yeah, it was just, and I think I said Vepper. But if not, yeah, Vepper. Definitely get a shout out. I hope he's not dying out there. Man, it's been hot as hell in Ohio. I can't imagine what it's like out in Arizona. That's rough. And Alex the Great, of course, Zarek's mod. Got to shout out Alex the Great. He's great. So, yeah, again, if you'd like to join us in chat, then come to our YouTube channel, subscribe and click the bells, and you'll get a notification. But typically we do it Wednesdays around 8:15, 8:30 Eastern Time. I want to thank Ben Landis very much for letting us use his song Through the Forest as our intro music. Outro music is just going to be Cubby again, so make sure to go check out Cubby's Bandcamp, KUBBI, for a lot of great pay what you want music, Creative Commons. So YouTube stuff, intros, it's awesome. Our website is classicelite.com, classic L337. You can get all of our old audio versions of the podcast there, as well as an Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and any podcast app that I've used has had us. So any podcast app should be okay. And social media, you can get a hold of us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, of course. I'm slacking on Instagram, but I still get notifications, so if you want to get a hold of us over there, you absolutely can. And then you can follow us at SoundCloud as well, if you want to check out some of the music that is video game related that we've been listening to. You can support the show through Amazon, links in the description. If you buy digital games through Amazon and you use our link, that we get like 10% or something like that. So digital games, if you want to support us, if you're going to buy a game digitally, maybe consider going to Amazon through our link. That would be cool. And that's going to be it for the show. So everybody, thank you very much for listening to episode 276 of the Classic Elite Podcast. And we will see you next week for episode 277.
Boosh.
All right. All right, you guys, everybody have a great night, and I'm going to shut down the stream. Thanks for chat. We had more listeners than normal this week, so I really appreciate it, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
We will see you next week. Good night.
Peace.